So we pulled the truck inside the garage, you know, diagonally, or sideways, which is really cool. The turning radius is amazing. And then we were playing with the suspension. So now we have it in extract mode. It's the highest setting it can go. The compressor's making noise because it's pumping it up. Let me show you. It says it's 6'5", and that's this peak, which is exactly as tall as I am. Let's see if I'm lying. Nope, I'm 6'5", and it's at 16.3 inch ground clearance. But let me show you what it did to the ground clearance. We actually don't have 16 in some spots because as this lifts up, the wheels get sucked in because the suspension is getting, well, the A-arm goes this way and it's going to pull the wheels in. But take a look at my plastic floor. This is the Swiss Trax floor, and it's just pulled it together. Luckily, nothing's broke yet, but it's pulled everything on both sides. Oh, now the compressor finally stopped. I wonder if it's going to keep going up the rest of the way. But it has sucked the wheels together inside, and it's pulled the floor. It was even with this concrete here. It's pulled it back in, was that 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches on both sides. So over here, it's off the wall a little bit less, but that is crazy. I was telling Joseph he needs a salt light sticker on the back of this thing now. It's that high. It's crazy. I've never seen a truck do this.
Wow, as much as you can see in there, the giga casting and visible and everything.
So we did notice, and if there's a Tesla, oh, I stepped on the hump there. The compressor was kind of loud. We're going to take that cover off and show you that, but if there's a Tesla engineer watching or something like that, is it supposed to be that loud? Let us know. And we're going to see if anything's touching it, but, you know, we're going to have some fun with it. Hopefully that doesn't void warranty. All we're doing is removing the bolts and looking. We're not going to do anything else, but we want to see the compressor that's in there, and we're exploring. So now, so you guys can see, I'm setting the camera here. We're going to put it back down to the ride height. I guess high is what we started at, and see what it changes to. That's funny. There's still a little hump there, so we'll put it all the way down and see. Is entry the lowest?
Entry's the lowest. Is that what's in now?
Yeah. So there's still a little hump. So I ended up putting in entry the lowest setting, and there's still a little hump in there. We'll fix that, but show you what the difference is in ride height. 8.1 is the lowest ride height. So this is the entry level. So when you stop the vehicle, it can lower all the way down so it's easier to get in and out. So the max height now is 5.9 inches instead of 6.5. So it's a huge difference. So we took the cover off to see where the giant air tank is in the compressor, because we thought the compressor was making a little bit of noise. And I'm not sure if it's hitting the lid that was there, but it's really cool to see everything. This gigantic tank was how big? 7.2 liters?
Yeah, 17.4 liters.
17.4 liters. I was way off. So that is huge. You have the manifold right here. This is where it controls all the air for the different spots, and then you have all the sensors and everything. But this is the compressor. It's on some shock absorbers, kind of like what the Model S and Model X have, but a little bit beefier because this is a bigger one. It is nice and warm and toasty from us putting in extract mode. But if you look back here, you can see the drive motor too. This is an all-wheel drive, so it's just one single motor in the back, which is plenty. Which is really cool to see all this stuff. I love seeing all these things from Tesla. And then you can actually see the battery pack where it stops there, underneath the compressor. And then that's where the charging port comes in, because all the brains to the battery is on top here, and then it's actually below where all the 4680 cells are. And one other cool thing we saw, if you look, this is the tub. This is the tub in front where you can store a bunch of stuff. But underneath, there's actually quite a bit of room. they could have made that deeper, but we were sitting there talking, and if you go deeper with that, you have more of a chance of damaging something if you're going off-road. So probably a shallower one is a lot better for all your stuff in there. Keep your dry socks and shoes in there. You don't have wet socks to drive home in. But really cool to see all this stuff. And all it was a couple bolts. There's nothing we did any damage or pulled anything off. But really cool to see. So as we're looking this thing over, because this is so new, it's fun to learn all these things, Joseph noticed this cable right here. And what it is, this is the release for your charging port. So inside the charging port at the very bottom, there's a pin that locks your charger in place so no one can just pull your cord out. And that is the manual release if something were to happen. Say the power's out with the charger and you can't release that, the button's not going to work, then you can actually pull this. It's going to be a pain in the butt to get to. This actually releases fairly easy. So probably that's how you would get to it. But there's the manual release way in there. Interesting.
Yeah, I think.
So now it's time to take this thing apart. I've already taken apart and we've wrapped a lot of the other side. I'm gonna save that for you. But we're gonna rip these off. Well, sorry, not rip them off. We're gonna take these off carefully, and the wheel well. We took the wheel well off on the other side. And actually, I'll show you that because we didn't wrap the fender. I've already taken some of this one off, and we're actually taking off the whole plastic clip and the fender liner because, well, he's driven this in the sand already, so there's sand everywhere. You can probably see it flying if we do that. So it's better to have just a clean slate so it lays flat, since everything is flat on this, and it just makes a better, easier, cleaner job to do. But let me show you the fender. You can see it's the Foundation series there, and inside the wheel well here, we ripped out everything. The cameras, you can see the big giant casting. We put it in extract mode, so this is really high, gives us a ton of room, and you see all the cut edges here. It's kind of cool. And the speaker on the bumper. So we're going to do this to the other side, and it's really just yank and pull and unbolt. And don't forget about these Bluetooth sensors and the camera. Plus, we're going to take the mirror off. It's actually just 3 bolts from the inside, a clip, and it lifts straight up. And probably eventually they will have a cap that goes here, but the law, you need to have those for now. If you're going to wrap your own car, Test Bros, they have a DIY kit that you can put on your car. There's a link down below. You can save some money, but you can wrap your own car yourself if you think you got the skills for it. It's very difficult, but they make an easy kit to do yourself. Watch their videos, it's really cool, and try it. If not, call me. Well, don't call me, you don't have my number. So to take this off is really just pulling on it, but you want to get where it's loose, because some of it's on there pretty good. So there is a section that will break free. There we go. But you don't want to yank it off because the camera's right here and there's a short cord. It's not very long. You see all the dust there? Look at all the sand.
You have no evidence that that was me.
Yeah, we do. There's video proof right here. I don't know if you can see that, but you push the pin and it pulls out. It's very awkward to do, especially on camera, but it's just like all the other clips. You just give it a little wiggle. You don't want to go too much because, I mean, there's an expensive camera that's attached to it, but it just comes right off. And you can see you push that pin and it releases that clip. But that's your version 4 camera. Easy to replace. And then these are just 10mm clips, but you also have these little push pins, and some of them you can pop from the other side, but they're just little push pins that you can easily get from this side if you want to. They pop free, But when you can get to them, it's easier just to pop them free.
Oh, the sand.
Yeah. Never thought you'd use a hammer on a Tesla. So what I always do with these, I get all the clips, I put them in the floorboard of the side that I'm using. So, oh, that's high. This thing is tall. And then a 10mm socket. Just zip these out. And these are in 2 pieces. And what's different with this is there's a Phillips head screw, a plastic Phillips head screw. They haven't used this in any of the other vehicles. But it's one of those push clips. I don't know why they did that. They could have just used a push clip. And then we have the sensor. To release it, you just pull this yellow or this white clip back, push on it, and I'm using a little pry tool to maybe get behind it. And the car might beep or fart when we do this. It farted on me last time. Doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
Yeah. The first one I took off, it farted. It was hilarious. I thought Joseph hit the button, the fart button, because he wasn't in the garage yet. And then you just comes right off. Same thing with this side. You zip them out and take it off. That's it. And then the next step is to remove this fender liner, because again, dust. So it's all these push clips and then these little metal spring clips. You got to get behind them and pop them out. The best tool for that is this little pop rivet tool. You just jam it in there and then you just push and it pops it right out. They are going to go flying, so you got to be careful. Maybe put your hand over it so it doesn't go shooting everywhere. So I popped all the little plastic ones off, but to loosen them, I got this little pick tool. Get behind it, in between the plastic and the metal, and really just loosening it up a little bit between the bolt and the pin. And you pop it loose. And then find it. So you got all the pins off. There's 2 bolts underneath behind the wheel and a push pin. But once it's loose, you just kind of wiggle it out of the sides.
Hey, don't waste all my sand.
Yeah, sorry. And I missed one clip. There's so many of these things.
Oh wow, another one still, huh?
I'll show you how many clips are in this when I get this out. It's ridiculous. Slides right out. And look at the sandcastle in there. Oh my gosh, you got a ton of sand in this. So this is all the clips just for that fender well. Take all that material off. I bet you Sandy Monroe's gonna have a fit about that. So you've probably already seen this online, but you can take off the mirrors. You don't have to take off the door panel, which is amazing. It's just three of these bolts here, and then the connector right here. You just pull this panel off, undo the clip, and then everything just lifts right up. It's got a little pin that holds it in place, but it lifts straight up. Super easy to do. And that's it.
Is there sand in it?
Yeah. So this trim piece comes off, this little rubber piece. It's a lot easier than getting it off the Model 3 and Model Y. Those you can bend because this is just rubber. So this door, the window pops up a little bit when you close the window so it doesn't rattle, but you can still lower it all the way down, which is really cool. But all you do is put your nails on there and grab it and just pull it towards the other side was easier, but it's still not hard. You're not going to bend anything, and it just pops right off. And again, I put everything I take off of this door, I put in the floorboard of that side so I don't mix anything up. And just to let you guys know, you still can get rock chips in this metal. It's very faint, but we can feel a couple chips. Like right here, there's a little bit, where was the other one? They're small. They're not like in paint because you don't have a deficit of paint going to metal, but there is a little bit there, which I don't think we're going to see in the vinyl when we're all done with this. So we're working on the tailgate here, and I want to take this light off for two reasons. We can wrap easier in there, and also I love to see what's on the inside of these things. So these things come apart really easily, and Tesla's known for making things workable or usable or disassemblable, if that's a word. I just made something up probably. But right inside here, you take a plastic pry tool and there's actually a spot. You kind of pry up on it, and then down below or down the side here, you just run and you can pop it free. And you notice there's screws in here. I think that's what holds the light in place. Don't be afraid, it's just plastic, and it's not mine. I'm just kidding. And it's still catching a little bit here. So we gotta do some more discovering. Oh. Or not, you just yank. Oh, look at the clips. These are not the white clips that are a pain in the butt. These are just in the center, so perfect. Look at that. There's quite a few clips, and they all stayed in place, so you don't have to worry about losing them. And they go right into stainless steel. So right behind it is steel, nice stainless steel. Is it the same stainless steel? Is it, or is it actual steel? No, it's not magnetic. So I guess it's real stainless steel, common stainless steel. So actually, those are what's holding on the plastic. I don't think we did anything. That's the tough part about exploring, but we probably have to remove the plastic to get to those. That sucks because this is all one piece. So we loosen these up and you really can't get to them. So there's, I think, 6 bolts along this, and then there's clips to hold the light in place. So we took out these 2 bolts here. They're 8mm bolts, and then this holding, this cable holding the tailgate from going too far. And that's really, there's really no weight on this when it's fully extended, but when you put max load on this, that's when this cable is stronger than anything else on here. So now it's just a matter of lifting up and getting access. So you can see right here, there's a bolt, they're circled in blue, and then there's clips holding it in place, so when you take the bolts out, the light doesn't fall and break on the ground. But everything is right around all that stainless steel. You see it goes a little farther. Don't put weight on it. Alright, so we loosened up all those bolts, and you can see all the silver pieces there. There's quite a few bolts there. And all you do is, it will drop out. So be careful, make sure you're holding it. It's 2-person job. And then we slid it back up here and then just tip it down and it pops right out. There's 2 little clips right here and right here that kind of hold it, but not really strong. This is the connection for the light. And then this is the connection for the camera. We're gonna unplug both of those, but oh, this camera's warm. It's very warm. Tesla's watching us. Like, what are you doing? Is the clip right here. It's that little clip that you push on that right there, and then slowly, don't grab the wire, but slowly pull out. But it's really tight in there. There's really not much room for your fingers. Also be careful, because the light's out of it. Now, the shock absorbers are actually pulling the tailgate closed, so again, 2 people.
So one interesting thing about the CyberTruck is when it's asleep, the steering wheel is not anything connected to it. But as soon as we open the door, it should pop right into position.
That's pretty cool. And so it's actually turned just a little bit because the wheels are turned just a little bit. Oh, and then You just gotta give it a little tug.
Shouldn't fall asleep that quick, I don't think, but...
I think because it's off, and I gave it some force.
Oh, there it is.
Interesting. It's harder to get it when you don't have an edge to grab. And if you're cutting, you can grab the blade a little bit and just make it a little difficult.
Plastic off, and now you do the trimming, right?
Yeah.
Okay.